What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick. I have the high ground Cactus, and today we are going to be showcasing one of, if not the best build for your Praxic Blade exotic sword, aka the Lightsaber, which has just been added into Destiny 2 within the Renegades Expansion. If you like using the Praxic Blade, this build will take it to the next level. I've actually been personally using this build for the entire Syndicate grind while I got my first Syndicate to max rank, and it is just unbelievable within the Lawless frontier. And so, let's get started. Now, really quick, I have partnered with Mobalytics, your source for Destiny 2 builds. You can see this build laid out in an easy to read, easy to understand format, including dim links. Check it out by clicking the link in the description down below after watching the video, of course, so you know how it works. All right, now as for the build itself, so we are on the Titan specifically so we can use the Stronghold exotic gauntlets. Guys, the interaction between the Stronghold and the Praxic Blade is actually broken. I mean, I made a video before Renegades even came out saying, if Bungie doesn't nerf this combo, this will be broken. Bungie did not nerf the combo, and it's exactly as broken as we all suspected, guys. So, in case you're unfamiliar with how the Stronghold works, the armor perk is Clenched Fist. It maximizes guard stats on equipped swords. You take reduced damage while blocking with a sword, and rapidly damaging targets after blocking shots with a sword grants restoration for a duration determined by the number of shots blocked. Okay, so the Strongholds give any sword infinite block. You can hold block with your Praxic Blade, it will never run out. Now, normally the problem is that, okay, you have infinite guard, you're blocking for as long as you want, but how do you actually deal damage? You're gonna have to stop blocking and attack targets. And based on how much damage you blocked, you're gonna start restoration when you break your block and attack. Well, not with the Praxic Blade, because the Praxic Blade block, remember, will reflect projectiles back. And the way the game is coded, those Praxic Blade reflected projectiles counts as sword hits. And so with the Stronghold, it thinks you're swinging your sword. So that means while you're blocking infinitely, you have 90% damage resistance, and every time you hit an enemy with your reflected Praxic Blade shot, you actually trigger restoration. So 90% damage resistance, infinite block, constant restoration times 2. You are, for all intents and purposes, unkillable. I think I've died one time with the Strongholds when 3 boss wyverns spawned behind me and they were able to take me down. Everything else cannot kill me. I was on stream last night blocking and laughing in front of mini boss Exploder Shanks and saying, hey, look at this. They don't even move my health bar. A mini boss Exploder Shank will absolutely explode all over me, explode on me, explode near me, and I will take no damage. It's actually crazy. Bosses, oh, your brig is shooting like massive cannons at me. I don't care. I take no damage. You are essentially invincible while you are blocking with the Stronghold and the Praxic Blade. So let's take that interaction and turn it up to 11. How do we make a build around this broken combo? Well, there's actually a lot of different potential ideas. So you could run Berserker, you get Banner of War. Obviously, that's even more healing and it's going to increase sword damage. But what I actually settled on, what I found to be the most effective support structure, the build for that combo, is actually going to be the Prismatic Titan. Now, why? Well, looking at the subclass, first of all, we have Twilight Arsenal. We want and need a Void Super. After that, we have Thruster. This is actually really important. Then for the melee, we have Shield Throw to get an overshield. That'll be important later. Then we have Pulse Grenade because I like them. For our aspects, we actually have Unbreakable. So it turns out Unbreakable is unreal with the Praxic Blade. Guys, you can throw your Praxic Blade and then activate Unbreakable, you're going to be blocking with that Unbreakable shield while your Praxic Blade is still out there hitting enemies, and then you wait for it to come back, release your Unbreakable, and you get to slaying. Like, actually insane interaction, and it's just a great kind of defensive stat if we need it, defensive ability if we need it. After that, Dranger's Lash. So, again, crazy when using the Praxic Blade. Why? Well, we can just activate our thruster while we're, in the middle of blocking, mid-combat, swinging our sword around. We're gonna thrust, and then we actually drop a special, almost like a spherical tangle projectile that shoots out and suspends all enemies nearby. So you're pressured by wyverns, things are getting a little dicey, activate the thruster, dodge out of there, and suspend everyone you left behind. Crazy combo. And again, both of these things, guys, they are stuff we can activate while we're using our sword. The problem with basing a Titan build around melee, using something like Knockout, is that your sword doesn't count as melee, and your melee ability is inaccessible while you have your sword out, right? You're gonna have to switch off your Praxic Blade to activate your powered melee, so we just ignore it. We're using abilities that don't involve your powered melee at all. Then, for the fragments, we've got Facet of Protection. If you thought 90% damage resistance with the Stronghold was good enough, nope, we're going to 95% with the Facet of Protection. Then we've got Facet of Purpose to get overshields. That'll be important later. We've got Facet of Courage. We actually go Transcendent a lot, so we can suspend a ton of enemies there. We're suspending enemies with our Dranger's Lash, so then our Unbreakable and stuff like that will do more damage to them. Why not? Then we've got Facet of Sacrifice. So while you have an Arc, Solar, or Void buff, we're going to have Amplified as well as Overshield a lot. You're going to get bonus Darkness, Transcendent Energy, so that's actually pretty decent. Then we've got Facet of Hope because we want our class ability more often because it's Dranger's Lash suspending. And finally, what brings it all together is Facet of Grace, actually. Defeating targets with kinetic weapons grants you bonus Transcendence Energy. Guys, your Praxic Blade is kinetic, and oh my goodness, you go Transcendent so much with this build. You know how I know? Because my Activate Transcendence button is the same keyboard binding as my block button, so I need to change that, honestly, but I'm holding block, I just go Transcendent all the time. I go Transcendent so often, it gets me in trouble because I'm trying to block and then suddenly I go Transcendent. But this is so important because, remember, if we read the effect of Transcendence, you gain increased ability regeneration, increased weapon damage, and damage resistance against combatants. So even more damage resistance, right? And increased weapon damage, increased Praxic Blade damage. So yes, we're missing out on Banner of War, but this is our like extra damage increase, weapon damage increase in PvE, like infinity Transcendence activations because we're doing so much kinetic damage, among other things. All right, so that is the subclass, guys. Now we've got to take a look at how we've specced out our Praxic Blade, because this is so customizable. So, importantly, I am going with balanced form simply because I find myself breaking my guard and damaging enemies so often. The ammo regeneration from rapid kills, and also increased damage against rank and file combatants. I really like that, so I can just breeze through red bars when I need to. However, defensive form would also be incredible, obviously, with this build. Works so well around blocking. I just don't feel I need any more resistance. Like, I have so much survivability, I don't need any more, and so I'm going with balanced form. After that, Forceful Blade, just more damage, why not? Then we do have Refraction Core. Reflecting damage from this weapon applies an elemental effect that matches your equipped super, so we weaken targets. So while we're standing there with 99% damage resistance, constant regeneration, we're reflecting damage, we're now weakening everything we hit, and that is just crazy. Now, if you were able to buy the Impact Core, which is available for sale right now, I'll link my video on it right up above, guys. This is also incredible. It's not going to work when you're blocking, but if you find yourself attacking a lot, I think you could absolutely go with Impact Core. I don't think there's a wrong answer here, right? Then our catalyst is Hyperblade. This was like made for this build, guys. Reflecting shots causes you to become amplified and grants this sword increase. So we have 100% amplified uptime. So that 95% damage resistance it's now 100%. Like, Amplified and the Stronghold and Transcendence, like this is actually getting to pretty absurd proportions of damage resistance here, guys, but incredible with Hyperblade. Then the next thing I actually want to talk about is going to be the artifact. I think that's the next most important thing. This artifact is like designed around swords. So taking a look at the important ones, Gravitic Voltaic Charge, we get an extra charge of armor charge because we're running a Void Super. Elemental Siphon, rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon, obviously, are going to make elemental pickups. That's great. So we get Void Breaches. Kinetic Synthesis, sustained kinetic weapon damage, right, is going to generate bricks of ammo. We're actually running double special because of this. We have so much ammo. I never run out of ammo, even with double special. It's crazy. Riposte, because why not? Then we've got Power from Pain. This is very important. Rapid final blows against weakened combatants grant you Devour. Yes, guys. If that all wasn't enough, if constant restoration ×2 whenever you are blocking and deflecting shots wasn't enough healing, we're also triggering Devour because we're weakening everything either by blocking or by attacking. So yeah, we have Devour too with this build. And so also we're going to combine that with Singularity. While you have a Void Elemental buff, Overshield, right? That's why we have, we're going to get an Overshield when we pick up an Orb of Power. We're getting Overshield from activating Unbreakable, guys. And so now when we have that Overshield, melee hits and sword hits weaken targets. So that's why you don't necessarily need Power Core. You can keep the core for deflecting shots, and then you have Singularity Blade will still make your sword hits cause weaken. So we literally get the best of both worlds here. And when you do defeat a weakened target, you make a weakening burst that weakens enemies nearby. After that, we have Combination Argent Blade, more sword damage, of course. And then finally, guys, we have the first one I picked here is Sword Storm Combo, performing 3 sword light attacks, which is literally the combo of the Praxic Blade. 3 sword light attacks followed by heavy is like the special combo. You're gonna get penumbral blades that surround you and disorient enemies and do more damage. I mean, like, okay. And then the next thing I would pick here is Kinetic Rupture, kinetic weapon damage, our Praxic Blade. So even though it's weakening, it's still kinetic damage. We're now going to create Kinetic Ruptures, which is going to like stagger guys and do damage. Okay, and we could also go with Void Infestation as well if you want to double up on the weakened. It's just so crazy. So anyways, for our weapons, guys, we have our Praxic Blade out all the time, so I wanted weapons that we could switch to in a flash. And actually, this brand new Motive 41 is kind of perfect for that. So guys, we have an auto-loading area denial frame in this energy slot. Now, I have attrition orbs with this. I would actually prefer incandescent if you can get it here. But like, just like being able to quickly auto-load, shoot a shot, and go back to your Praxic Blade, start guarding again while you are generating orbs from attrition orbs to trigger all these other things in your build is extremely, extremely powerful, right? And then, frankly, I just have a good machine gun here for invaders in Lawless Frontiers. Like, you absolutely could go with something else, but that's what I have just because I'm playing so much Lawless Frontiers with this thing. Then for our armor, first of all, for the stats, you want very high weapons because that's going to influence the damage of your Praxic Blade and the reflected projectiles damage while you're blocking as well. So we just have really high weapons. You want, high class if you can get it because you're going to be doing that Dranger's Lash dodge, high grenade, so it works with our Unbreakable guys, and then hey, some super energy is fine. Honestly, again, the main stat is just weapons. That's really all you need to just increase the damage of your Praxic Blade. After that, guys, for the armor mods here, we are going to be using for the helmet Dynamo. I mean, you're just dodging around a bunch of enemies, so might as well get super energy. Double kinetic siphon for tons of orb generation from our Praxic Blade. Then we have the Stronghold, firepower, and grenade font because why not? Again, works well with Unbreakable. Whatever resistances you need depending on the activity you're doing. Then for the boots here, we got a recuperation double kinetic weapon surge for Praxic Blade damage. And then for the class item, we've got a Reaper. Again, like it's so crazy with thruster because yeah, you just thruster and then attack guys. I mean, obviously, attack suspended, guys. I mean, pretty easy to do. Then we've got time dilation for our surges and powerful attraction, because this is where things get really crazy. If you can pull it off, guys, I do have the smoke jumper set. So you just need the 2-piece, because when you pick up an orb of power, gain a brief period of rapidly decaying damage reduction. So so our 99% damage reduction, now it's 99.9, all right? So basically, yes, you're blocking if you ever need more survivability. When you do that thruster, you're going to suck up all of the orbs around you that you've made, you know, with your double kinetic siphon from your Praxic Blade. Like, just crazy. And yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. I mean, I've said crazy, I've said absurd, but it really is so absurd. It's almost impossible to die. You can do objectives in the Lost Frontier while you're blocking. So you're planting bomb charges. You're picking stuff up, right? You can just hold block. You can pick up the cargo and walk while holding block. It's never been easier. This is Lawless Frontiers win the build, okay? It's absolutely crazy. 100% try it out, guys. Definitely, what a combo. Praxic Blade plus Stronghold, geez, it's insane. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.